Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Pubcast, episode number 31. Hello, Duncan. It's myself and Duncan this week. Tom still
has a poorly little one, doesn't he?
He does. But
we're talking about a baby, not his. Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully, it'll be the three of us next week. But
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers
and
crossed.
Next week we will have the interview with Mr. Sam Dyer of Bitmap Books as well.
Yes.
So hopefully be all three of us and the Bitmap Books, which if people are watching the video, we magically will change our clothes and lose Martin.
Yeah, I do magically disappear next week, so for that interview. Yeah.
But anyway, so Thursday nights that we're recording. So I think we've all listened to
15th of February, Thursday night.
The really exciting Xbox official podcast business update.
I didn't know they had an official podcast until
No, I don't think many people did. That's been a very sly way of advertising it, really.
Exactly. Maybe that's all behind it.
And it's certainly a lot more professional than ours.
It is. Yeah, we learned a few things watching their podcast.
Yeah, have a big studio, have a director, have a professional camera, probably have scripts or at least a director talking in your ear and saying, say this now, your turn to speak.
It was very much staged, wasn't it, in terms of the questions?
Yeah, I don't think they did have a script, but they very much had a sort of, it's your turn to speak now. And you talk about this kind of thing. But anyway, the big news, wasn't it, that everyone thought that was it. Xbox was going to be releasing everything on everywhere. And, I mean, the short story is they're not. They're not, are they?
No. So they confirmed 4 at the moment, but none are their massive titles, are they?
No. They didn't reveal officially what they were. What they did say was the only official thing they said was it is not Starfield. It is not Indiana Jones. So I'm very sorry for Switch and PlayStation users. I'm afraid that's not happening. But they did say, as you said, 4 games. They said 2 live service and that were over a year old, and 2 that were smaller games. So I think you've got a list of what's, and I think it's an accurate list of probably what it is. So tell everybody the games.
So Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. But I think Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment will be the first 2 heading over to the PS5 and the Switch, and then the Sea of Thieves and Grounded to follow. That wasn't from the podcast, but that's what people were taking out of it, and that's
I mean, these rumors started, didn't they, because of Hi-Fi Rush? I think it was leaked that it was coming to the Switch, which everyone was like, hang on, what, really? So that's how it sort of snowballed from Hi-Fi Rush possibly coming to the Switch. And then it was, it's possibly coming to PlayStation 5. Oh, blimey, maybe Starfield is. What? And I think that's what made them sort of Phil Spencer go, hang on a minute. What? What's everyone saying? Because it was just Hi-Fi Rush and the other games. Now, Hi-Fi Rush, have you played it? It's on Game Pass, obviously.
I haven't. No, I haven't played it.
It's an action rhythm game. So your attacks have to be in time with the music, and the more you get in time, the more the music and the stronger attacks you do. It's got very Jet Set Radio style.
I almost called it Jet Set Radio.
If you like Jet Set Radio, you like rhythm action. Rhythm games, it got very good reviews. It wasn't really for me. I don't know whether it's because I haven't got rhythm or just it did click with me, but I can see why people would like it. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't like oh god, this is horrible. But so it was a very bright game, fun, and So Pentiment, I played that. I haven't actually got through it yet because it was it's a weird game. I thought it was going to be funnier than it was. It wasn't as funny as I thought it was. It's done like in a medieval manuscript, and you have to go around, talk to people, and do little tasks for people. I didn't get very far in it, I don't think, because there was things in a review I read that I hadn't got to. So I can't really say that it's a good game or bad game. All I would say is that I think if you're a fan of sort of the point and click kind of games and that kind of thing, I think you'd enjoy it. But again, it's not a spectacular game. PlayStation users aren't going to be dancing in the streets over it coming. It was at best it was an 8 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10 on quite a lot of places. And then the other two, have you played Grounded or Sea of Thieves?
Trying to think. I haven't played Sea of Thieves, even though it's quite popular, isn't it? But I can't remember. I may have played Grounded. I'm just having a look now because it does seem quite similar, but it might be It Takes Two that I'm thinking of rather than Grounded. They look like
they're very similar in situation, but they're very different games.
Okay.
Grounded is a is a survival game, but you are shrunk down to the size of an ant kind of thing. And yes, you have to fight off your bugs, your spiders, and everything, all while getting grass, leaves as things, and wood, and like bits of litter that have been dropped. And yeah, it started off. I first played it. It was really tough when I first played it because there was a lot of accessibility features that weren't there. So it was on a set level, and that was quite a hard level. But then I went back when it had its 1.0 release, and it had the full story. You could adjust it so that it was a bit easier.
Yeah.
And I think it's another one it's good with friends. Solo, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It looks good. It's got some fun mechanics. If you don't like spiders, there is an arachnophobe mode because the spiders are terrifying because they scutter towards you very quickly, and they're quite strong. And yeah. But if you want, there is an arachnophobe mode that I think it changes them into something else. I don't know, but I didn't activate it. If you've got a group of friends, and if it has cross-platform, I think that will revitalize it a lot because it's a good game. If you like survival games, it's not a survival horror really, despite the spider. If you like survival games, it's good. It's a good game, and I think lots of people would buy it. It never really hit as one that other platforms users said, "Oh, I really want that game," or I don't. It wasn't a system seller, and I think that's the thing. I think that's what they're trying to get from these releases. Is they're going, these games aren't system sellers, but they're good games. So why not put them on other?
Yeah, I think for Xbox players, they're not going to be too unhappy that they're losing. They're not losing, but these games are going to PlayStation and Switch because it's not like Starfield or Indiana Jones or Elder Scrolls, whenever that comes out. But PlayStation and Switch users are going to get 4 very good games to play. So I think everyone should be pretty happy.
And people are going to Xbox are going to be very sly about it because you're probably similar to Minecraft. You're probably going to have a Microsoft account to have cross-platform play, and so you'll have to have your gamer tag. And so even if you're on PlayStation, if you want to play with me on Xbox, you'd have to have my gamer tag and have a gamer tag yourself. So
I guess it does open the door though for other potential games to head over in time, but I guess if it happens, people just speculate. So I know like before there was all these rumors that everything was going to go over Gears of War, Halo.
Yeah. I mean, if
games, but
Halo Infinite multiplayer, it's basically free to play. So at the end of the day, I can imagine, because what they said in the podcast was that this was a business decision. This was, like we said, just simply to get more people in there. Halo on there, Halo Infinite multiplayer. If that went on there, yes, you'd have lots of Xbox people going, it should be on there. But at the end of the day, it will get more players in there. It will make development of that game. If you like that game, then it means that you can get. They might lose some people going, if I can get that on PlayStation, I won't bother getting an Xbox. But I mean, your big ones like Forza. They said about Gears of War coming onto PlayStation. That would be as a business, that wouldn't make much sense, because old games like that, people are, if they're really desperate to play it, they'll get an Xbox 360, they'll get an Xbox One, or they'll just get a Series S and play them on backwards compatibility. It's not an exodus of games going to PlayStation, which is sad in a way, but also if you're an Xbox devotee, which I suppose I am really. I'm not a fanboy. I love more players in some games, but I think it was expected. If people really thought about it, it wasn't going to be much more than this.
I guess we'll just have to watch this space, but I think it blew over nothing really. People who was last week who were all complaining and selling their Xboxes or whatever, saying that Xbox was dying or whatever, probably may feel a little bit silly now.
And they have talked about hardware. They have said they're not exiting the hardware. But what do you think? I mean, do you think they're exiting the home console, like the traditional box under the TV console? Do you think that because they never actually said, oh no, we're going to make a home console, and that's going to be, because they said new hardware, this is going to be announced this holiday. That's all they said. They didn't say new console. They didn't say anything other than this holiday, which, as Brits, I think we were both a bit confused. What does this holiday mean? Does it mean holiday season like Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever they have over there kind of thing? Anyway, but this holiday, new hardware. Do you think it'll be a home console, or is there any other kind of hardware you would like, or you think it might be?
Personally, I don't think it's going to be a home console. They're going to be announcing it. I don't know if they're going to ever do a home console again. Last week, what I said is I think their main focus is going to be Game Pass and getting that just as many platforms as possible and try and make it to be the Netflix of gaming, so everyone just has Game Pass in their households and they can play it on their PS5, their Nintendo console, PCs, TVs. In terms of what hardware, if I had to guess, maybe a handheld, something like that they could be announcing, or something which goes with the Xbox.
The X Deck.
So they can, like PlayStation with their, I can't remember what it's called now, with their
Portal.
The Portal, which allows you to play games on the...
If it was a cloud device, I think it would just flop. I don't think... There's too many devices already that can play Xbox gaming, cloud gaming. I think their device will play, if they did a handheld, it would do cloud gaming, but I think it has to be out. That's why the Steam Deck does what it does so well. I can play Xbox cloud gaming. I can play GeForce Now on it if I want to. I don't know about PlayStation Now. Do they still do PlayStation Now? I don't know. But I believe they would have to have it so you could natively install it on the device for any kind of handheld. But yeah, I agree. I think they should release a handheld because the power is there. The Steam Deck and the ROG Ally and the Legion Go and all these kind of things, they prove that the power is there. All it needs is the refining that Valve have done with the Steam Deck and Steam OS and Proton and all this kind of thing. And if Microsoft and Xbox can get an Xbox handheld that has an Xbox console-like environment, but then you can press a button or choose an option and go over to a fully fledged Windows environment where you can play PC games, you can have Office if you want, but it also works well with touch and all this kind of thing, they'd be on to an absolute winner.
So you personally, if you were to guess about the hand, if it was a handheld, you think it would be its own separate entity, so its own whole new, rather than connected to the Series X?
Well, I think it possibly would be the power. I mean, the APUs. So APUs are like the CPU and GPU mixed into one chip, and that's what's in the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, and all that. And those are powerful enough now that they are getting to the point where they can the device it's in can get smaller and smaller and smaller, and lighter and lighter. And if they can make it so that, like I said, at the moment with Steam Deck, you open it up and it's in what's called gaming mode. And that you just pick games, you've got settings in there, you've got a quick menu kind of thing that you can press a button and get up and change settings. Or you can go into the power menu, go to desktop mode, and you have a fully fledged PC, a Linux PC. I was going to say Linux PC, but it's Linux. And if they could do that with Windows, but have, instead of a Steam gaming, they would have Xbox gaming. So you would have console games and a console experience. But then if it didn't have desktop, there'd be a lot of people that would just be like, no thanks. Because the good thing about the Steam Deck at the moment is that you can tinker with it. Or you can, out the box, just use it. And you don't have to tinker at all if you don't want to. And if basically, it has to be an Xbox deck. That's what I'm saying. Because it's the Steam Deck is so good. And it works so well.
Yeah. So like the Switch as well in terms of.
But they did. We go on to the one thing they did announce that was a new thing that they announced, and that was Activision Blizzard King games, as they call it, are coming to Game Pass. But the only one they actually announced was your favourite game of last year, Diablo 4, March 28th. So you happy about that?
Yeah. I'll be able to play that on my TV, won't I?
You'll be able to direct me around there and carry me through the game, probably. Yeah.
I'll probably. It's one of those games though. If you haven't played it for a while, you'll go on it and not know what to do. But yeah, no, that is exciting. I'm trying to think whatever Blizzard games are there, what they could announce.
I mean, obviously, all the in console, there's Diablo 3 and 4, and there's the Diablo 2 remake. Then you got Activision. Obviously, you got all the Call of Duties, and they've been on console.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of Blizzard rather than.
Yeah, Blizzard. I mean, obviously, Blizzard is World of Warcraft, really. But I mean, but yeah.
But no, Diablo 4 is you're an Xbox player. You must be pretty happy.
Oh, Overwatch, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Diablo, Overwatch, Hearthstone. Here we go. I'm just getting up a list. Oh, 1991. I don't think I want that. Right. Yes. So, Overwatch 2. StarCraft, but that's only on Windows. But maybe StarCraft 2 will be coming to Game Pass. Game Pass PC. But yeah, other than that, it's not really that much from Blizzard, I'm afraid. just the Diablo 3, Diablo 2 remake, and Overwatch. So, yeah, not that exciting. The Blizzard side. Well, it is exciting. It is exciting.
Yeah, it's only one game, but it's quite a big game, isn't it? In terms of
I mean, apparently, Activision they own the Spyro and Crash IPs now, and apparently there was it Toy Bob we talked about last week?
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff.
They had a lot of stuff, but apparently they have appeased people's worries, saying that they are sticking with those IPs and things are happening. And apparently, Toy Bob was like going to be decreased anyway. They had an office that was way too big anyway, so it's basically people are working remotely and they are working on things. So if people are Crash and Spyro fans, don't worry. It doesn't mean the death of those IPs, but fingers crossed.
So the latest news is that Microsoft is reportedly dedicated to bring new Crash and Spyro games. So yes,
but I mean, hopefully it's no more this. What was it, Crash Rumble or anything like that? Because
and I mean, I can't remember the last new actual Spyro game because they did a remaster, didn't they? But the last Spyro game must have been like the GameCube era. So
they brought out the remakes. I think.
Yeah, just said it, but the actual an actual new game.
Yeah, no, I don't think. Oh,
I have not brought one out.
Sneeze. Spyro Trilogy came in 2018, and the Legend of Spyro Reboot Trilogy came out 2006 to 2008. So,
but they're just remakes, aren't they? So when
reboots,
the last actual Spyro was out.
Basically from between 2000 and 98 and 2005 was when all the games came out, and there hasn't been a new one since The Legend of Spyro Dawn of the Dragon, which was out in 2008 on mobile, DS, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Wii, and 360.
I hadn't heard of it because I'm sure like Enter the Dragon or something. I don't think it's called Enter the Dragon.
Dawn of the Dragon.
Dawn of the Dragon.
Yes, it was reception was not good. Metacritic I think the highest one was the Wii that got 64%.
Yeah, there was one on the Wii, wasn't there? No, I remember.
So not a good one, but hopefully they can remake one of the good ones or bring out a new one that's pretty good. Yeah, the ones from 2006 to 2008 did not get good reviews. They were pretty poor. I mean, I own the Reignited trilogy on PC. I have played it a little bit, but I don't know when there's so many more modern things. I'll go back to again the games I played recently. Super Lucky's Tale that I've mentioned quite a few times, and that one it looks good. It's designed for a modern graphics. It's not just made pretty, and it worked so much better than the Spyro one. The Spyro one, it was okay. It was. It just didn't have the same sort of impact as when it originally came out, which is a shame because I did enjoy it when it first came out. Had that 3D platform like prime time when you had like Mario's, Spyro, Crash, Croc. Do you remember Croc? That was a good one on PlayStation.
Yeah, the ones on the PlayStation Spyros, I really enjoyed them.
So good.
They're the ones where you would like run into the sheep, isn't it? I remember that. You could.
You could headbutt them all. But I think we've come to the end of all the things they talked about, really, haven't we?
Yeah.
It was
room for Xbox players as we thought last week. So I guess we can come to what we've been playing this week.
Have you been playing anything this week?
Nothing new. I have continued with Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
I had a massive fight with a bear recently. That was quite interesting.
I thought we were talking about a game.
Yeah. Not Folger's Gate, but no, yeah, I actually, within Tomb Raider, not in real life. I also do, but in Tomb Raider, I had to kill a bear, which was just had to be done. It was in the way where I needed to go, so
I'll be reporting you to Peter, Petter, whatever they're called.
So so I shot with an arrow to lure it out, and then first of all I did try and do it with like a melee attacks and stuff like that. Realized that you couldn't do that. You have to just stay away and try and hit it with arrows until it passes away.
Oh, so it's like a boss, is it? I can't really remember, to be honest.
It's not really a boss, but it's just you have to get through it to get past. Well, to progress through the level, but it's not like a.
It's not some. It's a mid-level boss kind of thing.
Yeah, it's low level. I'd say it took me about it took me about 2 goes, so it wasn't like that difficult. But
are you enjoying the story in it? It's I can't remember. Is it the one that's based in it's like a Chinese island or something? Or is that the sequel?
I mean, no, it's Syria, I think. Because I'm not that far into the game. So far I've been in Syria and I was in like a old temple, whatever. And then it's the one where you start and you're in like the mountain range. So it's all like snowy. So most of the game I've played is in the snow, but there's been a part which is.
Hang on, so is it the first reboot or the Rise of the Tomb Raider you're playing?
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Rise of the Tomb Raider. Okay. So I think the first one, I think might be, it's based in some Chinese islands, and you have to battle, the giant ghosts, like kind of Chinese soldiers kind of thing. What they call the ceramic soldiers that are on display. I think you have to fight them. I think that's that one. No, are you enjoying it though?
Yes, I am. I am enjoying it. Yeah, but fortunately, I haven't been able to play. Yeah, I'm just looking now. Apparently, I'm in Russia. That's the. But there was a bit in Syria as well, but that was like another little.
Well, I suppose
unless it was Siberia.
Siberia.
But,
maybe.
Who knows? A little bit different, aren't they? Siberia. It was quite.
Well, yes. One's quite a dry country, and one a desert sea.
One I went to was.
If it's mountainous and cold, then it's probably Siberia. Yeah.
Initially, it was hot, and it was like very sandy, so that's why I just thought Syria.
Oh, there you go. Might be.
But there was a bit where it's sort of it flip flops between the different places. So the main bit is in the snow, which is I think is Russia. So yeah, it's well traveled.
It's quite a long game though, isn't it? Because I think you'll be playing it for quite a few hours.
Probably, I'll be playing it for years. Yeah, I don't get that much time to play games at the moment. So,
well, I mean, you say about you'll play the same game and whatnot, but then again, I've been playing mostly the same game as well, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, and it's so good. I can't stop playing. It's just there's so much to do. I've got to about 30 hours at it now, and I've unlocked the Animal Crossing style game that's in it. You basically go to an island and it's failing as a resort, so you have to clear up the trash. But there's pirates that are putting trash on there, so you have to destroy the trash, beat up the pirates, and then get the materials and build various things. It is very much like Animal Crossing style thing, although you can have one of the buildings you can build is an adult shop. One of the buildings is was basically a brothel. So it's definitely not one that you want to hand over to your kids. Although most of it is just building little like umbrellas and chairs and stuff like that. But it's within Infinite Wealth. There is a full Animal Crossing style game. So if you like Animal Crossing, which I'm okay. To be honest, I played it for a good few hours. I think about 5 hours. I probably played that version of the game. But at the end of it, I didn't really want to go back to it. But that's again more of a me thing than a game thing. If you like that kind of grind where you do one thing, do another, you have to go to sleep, wake up, do a thing, build a bit, go to sleep, build a bit, gather stuff. It's great. It's fantastic. But yeah, I felt a bit empty after, although, as I said, for about 5 hours it kept me stuck in there. But the rest of the game, I'm absolutely loving it still. The story is great. The tactical battles are great. You have jobs for people, so you can change how your character works completely. So trying to find the best build of your team is very tactical, and the more that you have to build up a job's level, so that then you can use skills from that job in another job, if that makes sense. So you have to just be tactical of when you pick that job, so you can level up, so you don't have to use it later. But then you want the one job that you want to concentrate on to be high enough level to be able to use, because it can increase your hit points, your magic, your speed, and all this kind of thing. So it's very much a tactical game. It has seemed a bit easier. I remember dying quite a few times in the first game. I think I've died once in this game, and in 30 hours. So whether that's because I absolutely messed around in Japan when I first played and I got my people too high a level, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so that's maybe one more minor gripe, so that it is maybe a little easy. I don't know whether I've actually got it on an easy level, but I did play another game just so I had something to talk about on Game Pass. I think it came out yesterday. Is Plate Up, which is a rogue-lite Overcooked, basically. Have you heard of this game?
I haven't, no, but it sounds like it's going to be like...
Imagine sort of a jelly wobbly people like in Human Fall Flat kind of thing, mixed with Overcooked with a roguelite aspect to it. So you have a run of cooking things and serving them, and then you have to clean the plates, and if if they get too frustrated and leave, it's game over, and you have to start again. But then you build up your kitchen, and so it becomes easier. And so there is some automation that you can improve your kitchen. You can improve your machines, your counters, and this kind of thing. And yeah, so the premise of it was quite interesting, and I thought, maybe this is one my wife likes, Overcooked, and I thought maybe this would be a good one. But then I came to actually play it, and the controls are very fiddly. I was doing some things or trying to serve people, and the customers would just move, and they don't move around you or stop when they get to you. They push you out of the way, kind of thing. So you're doing something, it stops, or it was just all very fiddly, and you couldn't, with Overcooked, I don't know if you play that. It doesn't matter whether you're holding a plate and picking up food, you can just do it, or you can hold food and pick up a plate, kind of thing. And there was one of those way around you couldn't do with Plate Up, and the controls and just the difficulty of it just lost me straight away, pretty much. I think I played it for about maybe 45 minutes, an hour. And I was just like, oh, so this is one that I've just got to do it again and again and again and again and again. And I was just, no, it wasn't for me. So for me, it'd be like a 5 out of 10. But I've had a look and it's sort of it's got 7 out of 10s kind of thing. But not one for me. If you like repetition and grinding, I think it's and you like Overcooked, you'll like it. But no, not one for me. And then I went straight back to Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. As you do.
I guess next week when we have the same conversation, I imagine Infinite Wealth will come up again. Anything on Game Pass?
Oh, hang on. I have played one of the game. I started Resident Evil 3, but I just got to the point where I met the Oscar, was it? No, Carlos. And that was it. So he fired a rocket at Nemesis. So I got chased by the Nemesis, got rescued by Carlos, and that was it. I then haven't played it since. But it only came out on Game Pass 2 days ago, so I haven't really had a chance to play it. But no, great. Just like number 2, great graphics, good controls. I've yet to actually get to any puzzles or anything, so I can't speak on that. I can imagine it'll be similar puzzles to the original games, just in 3D and whatnot. So yeah, looking forward to playing a bit more of that. Although I've still got Resident Evil 2 to play. So which one do I play? I don't know.
Decisions to make, Duncan.
I think. Well, we've had 37 minutes.
I know, it might be a shorter episode.
Yeah,
today.
it might be. Well,
but next week
you did tell me earlier some quite interesting on this day.
On this day, yeah. So it's February the 15th, isn't it? I'll just make sure I'm on the right day. So start with Street Fighter 2. That was out on the arcade 33 years ago. Which,
wow.
I can't remember that.
I wonder if that's worldwide or whether it was just in like Japan or something. It doesn't say, does it? It just says arcade games. So, but no, I remember playing that. And it was a fantastic game. And then when it came out on home consoles, it was just outstanding. The fact that they fit it all into there, because there was, people thought, well, first of all, it would never come to home consoles. And then it was, it's coming to home consoles, but they'll probably have to cut it back. There'll probably only be about 5, characters. And no, the full game came, and not only did it come, but they had like the hyper version, which meant you could go faster and whatnot. Yeah, it was so good.
I do remember playing it on the Mega Drive or Genesis.
Yes, that's what I played it on. Yeah, yes.
Dowson and Saga and all that, but
who was your player of choice?
I quite like Blanca, just because he was green. I was quite young at that time, so it didn't take a lot to sort of. But then I'm trying to think. Me and my cousin used to play it quite a lot, and it used to really annoy me when he was Dowson. He was just
Dowson did. If people could control him well, Dowson could be very annoying because he could reach him from far away and actually hit quite hard.
I used to just be like, look, it's like you have the reach advantage. So I was pretty young, so I must have been using quite technical boxing terms back then. But I was just complaining of its reach. That if I quite liked Sagat. Sagat was quite a enjoyable character for me, but he was not in the original Street Fighter 2, was he? He was like in the updated, like the Championship editions kind of thing, wasn't he? I think. Possibly.
But so if we go back to the 12th of February, Super Mario Brothers 3, 34 years ago.
Wow, top trumped Street Fighter, old
by one year older. But that is on the NES, so very much older.
That is old, isn't it? In the NES. How old did you say? 30?
34 years.
So still just older on that one. So
well, so yeah, other than that, not really. Punch Out. Punch Out came out 40 years ago on February 17th. Okay. On Saturday, that will be 40 years old. The big 4-0 on Siphon Filter. Siphon Filter is quarter of a century old.
Yeah, I remember that really well. So
yeah, that was the game. Was it Siphon Filter that came with the headset? And you could.
No, that was SOCOM. That's SOCOM.
Oh, that was SOCOM, wasn't it? Yes.
Siphon Filter was just a. Yeah, it was on the PlayStation. I had it, but I don't know if it was out on any other console. But yeah,
I think it might have been PS exclusive. Yeah.
I can't really. It's hard to explain. It's just a box standard shooter game.
Yeah, it's just a third-person shooter, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think that I can remember being in snow for some reason. I might be completely wrong. People be like, saying there was never a bit in snow, but
so was it in Syria?
Yeah, or Siberia, one of the two. But no, I remember playing it. It was a good game, and then I think they did. There was more that came out afterwards on like the PlayStation 2, but I don't think that was very well received. But yeah, the first one was.
Yeah, the first one was good. Oh yeah, on the 18th of February, Heavy Rain on the PlayStation 3, 14 years ago.
Yeah, which, different game.
Quantic Dreams, isn't it? So they were. That was one of their first big ones. I mean, they did. Was it Fahrenheit 9/11?
That's Michael Moore, isn't it? Fahrenheit 9/11.
Yeah, Fahrenheit Michael Moore. It was just called Fahrenheit, wasn't it? But it was called. Yeah. But it was called Indigo Prophecy in some places. I think, yeah. So it's either called Fahrenheit or Indigo Prophecy, depending on where you lived. I think was them as well. But then Heavy Rain was their big PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
That I still to this day I owned it on Steam, and I can't play it on Steam Deck because it detects the Steam Deck as a Steam controller. Now, one of the things you have to do in Heavy Rain with the 6-axis on the PlayStation 3 or with the Steam controller is it's because they got gyroscopes in it. You have to shake, and I'm like, I'm not shaking my 450-pound Steam Deck so I can brush my bloody teeth in Heavy Rain. So I tried to make it so that I could play it. And I can't do it. I really want to play it, even though everyone tells me that it's a really depressing game. I really want to play it, and I really want to get through it. But yeah, just literally the first thing you do is get up and go to the bathroom, and it says, clean your teeth. I'm like, okay. And it says, shake your controller. I'm like, no, I'm not shaking my controller. You can go yourself. So
hardware, PlayStation Vita was out 12 years ago today, which I never had a Vita. I had a PSP, but I never got the Vita.
Still have one somewhere, and I have at least a couple of games still, I think. I had the Little Big Planet game, and I had a FIFA game. Oh, what was that one that was... it was like Gravity Rush. That was the one, Gravity Rush. I think they did bring that on PlayStation 4 eventually, I think. But yeah, it was a fantastic game. Really good engine in that you could. What it was, you.
There's a Gravity Rush too, isn't there?
Yeah, you could basically point at an area and you would turn off gravity and you would fall in the direction that you were facing. So it was very much a whole 3D world that you could quite easily get lost in, or you'd be like, where am I? And you'd be looking around like, I don't recognize this area. And you realize you'd be standing on the ceiling or something kind of thing. So yeah, it was great little piece of kit. I think it got hacked eventually. And again, it was they had their own generic memory cards, which nobody liked buying. So yeah, if it just had SD cards or something like that, yes, it probably would have been hacked earlier. But yeah, it just yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but it was a great piece of kit.
Well, unless you include the port, but it's their last handheld console, isn't it? They haven't had anything else since the PlayStation.
Yeah. Well, I think the PSP sort of failed because of rampant piracy. PS Vita was piracy eventually, and yeah, and PS Vitas now are quite popular as emulation devices.
I guess maybe back then they thought there was just no point competing with Nintendo in the handheld market because everyone's. I mean, I had a PlayStation Portable, but it would seem that most people still had their like DSs or whatever, playing Nintendogs, and I was there playing, watching movies and all that.
It was piracy as well. People on the PSP. Very few people, I think, actually paid for games. So yeah, if they're not going to make money off games, they're not going to support it, and the developers won't make games for it if it's not supported. So yeah, unfortunately, both those handhelds died a death. So yeah, sad, but
never mind.
Now it's good for emulation.
Right, nice time for emulation, but sad for the PlayStation Portable.
Yes. As I said, I've got one somewhere. I just don't know where it is. It's in a box somewhere. I've got many boxes from when I moved around and stuff. But yeah, I'll have to dig it sometime.
Tom unwrapped a brand new Dreamcast on one of the episodes, and you can't even just find an old.
Yeah, but it's small. It's only this big. So yeah, I'll try and find it. I'll try and find it. It might even be in my box of wires that I've got, as every dad has to have. You got your big box of wires. Yeah. Most of them you will never need in a million years.
Just in case.
And I just have a tech box that's just bits of computer accessories and wires and plugs and extension leads.
My partner's like, do we need this wire? And I'm like, yes, I do need that AV wire from 1999. Put it back in the box.
Bespoke to Sony Ericsson charging.
Exactly.
That company doesn't even exist anymore. I don't get, but I might get a phone that's Sony Ericsson.
I mean, I was talking about I found a wire. It was for a GameCube to connect the GameCube to the TV. And I can't remember the last time. Well, I had to have GameCubes recently, but I've had my own wires. So I don't even know where this has come from. But I'm like, I'm not getting rid of it because you never know. A GameCube without a wire might turn up, and then I'll be like,
kids get a bit bigger and they want a games console, you'll be like, here's a GameCube.
Well, here's the GameCube wire. But yeah, I've got a million HDMI wires as well. I never throw a HDMI wire.
Oh no.
HD or just HD wire, but. Yeah, maybe that'd be an episode. We'll get our wire boxes
just down. What is in our dad boxes?
Exactly. Yeah, some of the wires genuinely don't know what they would do. I'm like, look at them. I'm like, I don't know what that would connect.
Yeah, it's like people. I mean, youngsters nowadays, they don't realize like in the 90s and the early 2000s, if you bought a device, the charger for that device probably only worked with that device. And even if you bought let's say a Sony Ericsson phone, if you bought another Sony Ericsson phone, you probably would have had a different charger. And so it was just an absolute nightmare because you had to get one that was, specific to your device. That, there might only be out of, let's say Sony Ericsson released 30 phones. For those 30 phones, there might be 5-6 different chargers. So
not like today where you can just go around.
Well, I mean, Apple have been forced to.
You have an Apple charger. And then
it did cause load of waste. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Even within a house, you had a house with 4 adults or four people that had phones, and you'd have 4 chargers. And then people would have a charger that they took out and about, like to work or something, and then they'd have a charger at home. So that's 8 different chargers.
Saying that, kids won't know today. You say about the chargers, but if you had a Nokia 3310, you never really had to charge it, did you? I reckon I could find my Nokia 3310 from the 90s and it'll still be on.
Still be charged.
2 bars of battery, still be playing Snake.
There's the whole meme, isn't there, about they're invincible kind of thing. If you want anything to survive, just wrap it in Nokia 3310s or 3210s. My dad actually did. When I think he has an old iPhone now that my sister gave him, but before that he had some very basic colour phone, but he had a 3210, and literally a 3210, and he had that. I've got to say, probably until at least 2010. It was basically he had it until they turned off that kind of signal, because I don't think it was a digital signal, and until they turned that off, he used it. And this is my dad, who was in networking and all this kind of thing. So for some reason, he had a Nokia 3210 for.
He was fuming when they turned that signal off.
Well, he still has his computer. I think the computer may be nearly as old as you.
Wow.
It's from the 90s, I think.
I am from.
Because let's say this. My mum passed away 21 years ago, and she used it. So that was so probably it's at least 21 years old, probably 22 or 23 years old, at least. So it's probably 30 years old, and he still uses it every day.
So if it's 21 years, then I'm a good almost 14 years older than that.
Yeah. I said it's at least.
At least.
Because I remember on that computer, I remember using Microsoft Comic Chat. Oh, what Comic Chat? I'm just looking up when that was actually. It was first released in 1996. It was defunct in 1999. So So it's at least 24 years old. Blimey!
Was it like a chat room?
It was basically just chat, but if you picked a character and you just chatted, and as you chatted, different frames would come up with your character with a speech bubble and somebody else's speech bubble, but they were public chat rooms, so it would just have loads of different characters with bubbles over their head. It was brilliant, but at the same time completely like part of the early Wild West of the internet. So looking up Microsoft Comic Chat, and it's a graphical IRC client.
9-year-old, 10-year-old me. I remember going onto chat rooms in the late 90s, causing havoc, just putting stuff out there, just letting the.
Is this your apology for all the things that you said?
Never said anything too controversial, but I remember going on there. Just
did you have relationships with many people's mothers?
I've got 9-year-old.
Oh, trust me, I think I've had a few 9-year-olds that apparently have had relationships with my dead mom. Oh god, on Xbox, it's like, you're gross. But before we go off it being PG,
we've gone off on a little bit of a tangent. We kept it to game related, and then we got into wires,
and then we spent about 15 minutes just talking about rubbish. So we're not
wires,
rubbish, but
chat rooms, and Nokia 3310s.
Right, so as we said at the beginning, next week, Mr. Sam Dyer, bitmapbooks.com. we have had an interview with him. He was a lovely guy and has a fantastic product. Absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, we've got the interview with him coming next week. Yay!
Cool.
And everybody should like and subscribe.
I will.
Bye!